Hi there, it's Adam Smith, head of Sky Sports Boxing, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Lights Out, I'm Faisal Khan, and I'm delighted to be joined by the BT Sport ring announcer, Mr. Thomas Treiber. Thomas, welcome back to the UK. Excited for Friday night?
Very excited. So much excitement to be part of an event at Royal Albert Hall, such a historic venue, and just really honored and looking forward to it. And sounds like we have some great fights lined up.
The first time I met you was last year for the Tyson Fury comeback fight in Manchester against Fury. But you've been, you've announced many spectacular fights since that. You look at the two championship fights with Josh Warrington, and now you're announcing this fight at Royal Albert Hall on Friday night. Where does this rank for you in your career so far?
It's, right up there. It's been an incredible ride so far working with Frank Warren and his company. I've worked stadiums, arenas, York Hall, now, Royal Albert Hall. So truly a great opportunity for me, and just super happy to be working this event Friday night.
Now, I know we can't have it our own way all the time, but slightly disappointed you didn't get to do the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight in LA in December?
I mean, I certainly would have loved the opportunity, but it was a Showtime Network pay-per-view, and that's Jimmy Lennon's gig, and but just happy that Tyson was at least able to get the draw. I thought he won the fight on the scorecards, but it's going to be an interesting year, and to see if maybe that rematch will happen this year. We'll see what happens.
It's definitely blowing up in the States now, because obviously a lot of people will now know who Deontay Wilder is. They'll also know who big baby Jarrell Miller is. Of course, we were just talking to Hasim Rahman about his up-and-coming heavyweight Michael Hunter. Just talk to us right now about what is the word in the States ever since that fight with Deontay Wilder. I'm sure the United States fans keep a close eye on the UK in boxing. Who is it that they want to see the WBC champion of the world in the ring with next? Is it a rematch with Tyson Fury, or is it perhaps maybe an undisputed bout with the heavyweight champion of the world in Anthony Joshua?
I think most people would like to see that rematch right now. I mean, it was such an intriguing fight and such an incredible moment where Tyson, rose up and actually won round 12 after looking like he was knocked out. And he put on such a great performance. And if people weren't familiar with Tyson Fury, they certainly know him now. But of course, people want to see Joshua versus Wilder as well, and Fury versus Wilder. So I think the boxing fans out there would love to see any of those fights, and perhaps in 2019 we'll see it. We'll see what happens.
There's been obviously some memorable moments in the heavyweight division. You had Hasim Rahman, who we met today, stopping Lennox Lewis and winning a world title. I mean, where would you rank Tyson Fury getting up off the canvas in that in the final round, especially with them two shots that Deontay Wilder gave to him? Where would you rank that? So, in terms of moments in boxing,
it's one of those moments that you'll never forget. If you're a fight fan, that's one of those moments where you'll go, gosh, I always remember that round where no one in the world would have thought he would have gotten up and even win the round, or finish the round winning the round. And actually, I was just working an event last week with Jack Reese, who was the referee for that fight. And I commended him on such a great job, because a lot of referees may have waved it off right there once Fury went down. But he told me that Fury had his eyes open and was actually looking at him. And so, he had that view that the boxing fans didn't have, and he knew not to wave it off and give Fury the count, which gave him the opportunity to get back up and finish the round very strongly.
Deontay Wilder claims that it was a slow count by the referee. Your thoughts on that?
I think the timing, I saw something about that online. I thought it looked pretty accurate. So no, I don't think it was a slow count. I think it was done properly, and people are going to always want to say something, but I don't know. It looked proper to me from what I've seen online.
Obviously, I know sometimes it's very difficult for pundits and the ring announcers to have like a biased opinion, but in your opinion, looking back at the result in the end, what did you make of the judges giving it as a majority draw?
I thought that Fury edged him out. I thought he should have gotten the nod on that, even though there were the two knockdowns. I thought that Tyson Fury did enough to win a decision, but it didn't go that way. And I was just, at least happy that he left there without a loss. And it left so much intrigue now to a rematch. So I think everybody won.
Now another fighter from the States is New York's very own big baby Jarrell Miller, who so far has talked a good fight. Yeah. A lot of people say he may have got in the mind of Anthony Joshua. Looking at those press conferences and the face-to-face and the head-to-head, going into that fight, do you give baby Jarrell Miller a chance of winning that fight?
It's definitely possible. I think he's a big guy. He's got some heavy hands. It only takes one punch. I think if it's one of those fights that goes the distance, I think Joshua has the edge there. Better skilled fighter, more conditioned fighter. But it's certainly an intriguing fight, and we'll see what happens.
Final question. You've been obviously working in the UK now for some time. I see you at literally every press conference that Frank Warren has these days. You know what Tyson Fury is all about, and you know what Anthony Joshua presents. Would that be the dream fight for UK fans? For me, I think personally, the best two heavyweights in the world right now. Would the dream fight be in 2019, Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury? And if that fight was to happen, what sort of a prediction would you give?
Wow, man, that would be an amazing thing. Not only in the UK, but the world of boxing fans would be watching that fight. And, it'd be an interesting fight. I think Tyson Fury's style, not just because he's a Frank Warren fighter who I work for, he's a very tough guy to beat. The way his movement, he's an awkward guy to fight in there. He knows how to utilize his size. He's so elusive. He's a very difficult guy to beat. So he can certainly beat Joshua, no doubt, in my mind.
Excellent. Thomas Treiber, really appreciate your time as always.
My pleasure.
Listen, it's going to be an eventful night on Friday night at Royal Albert Hall. Really hope you enjoy it. And as always, a pleasure talking to you. And hopefully we'll catch up with you again for the next trip to the UK that you make for Frank Warren.
Anytime. Thank you very much for having me.
Thomas Treiber, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for talking to Lights Out.
Thank you. Lights out.